Hey bees, I'm Marie from Humblebee and Me, and welcome to September 2018's Q&A video. So just a reminder, if you have a question you'd like to see answered in one of these videos, please leave it in the comments below, and I will save it in the rolling document of questions that I pull from when I go to make these videos. But let's get started. Our first question is one that I've actually been getting from a lot of people, which is based around the Humblebee and Me meetups that I do when I travel. So when I go places where I'm likely to find Humblebee and Me readers, so maybe not when I go camping in the middle of nowhere, I sort of create a Facebook event for Humblebee and Me meetup, and we all just like gather at a local cafe or brewery or something, and we just hang out and chat, and it's just like an informal gathering of people who have similar interests. You know, the only cost is whatever sort of food and drink you order, and yeah, we just kind of hang out, and it's just fun, and you meet new people and make friends and stuff. So yeah, I have lots of people asking, you know what, where are you gonna have one in my city? And so yeah, I typically have them when I travel either for business or for pleasure, and so I do have a couple leads on a few upcoming ones. I am going to Kansas for the weekend of the 12th of October for the Mother Earth News Fair in Topeka, Kansas. I really haven't had any interest about having a meetup there. I have kind of put out feelers on my Facebook page and asked if anybody would be interested in doing a meetup in Topeka, and I have had 0 replies of any variety. So it seems unlikely I will have a meetup there unless, you know, Kansas really rises up and is like, yeah, we'll be there. I'm going to be going to Seattle next month, so I want to have one there. And then I'm heading to the UK, so I'd like to have one in London. I'm planning on going to Dublin as well, so one there I'm thinking. And then I have a bit of time to go sort of somewhere else in Europe, and I'm trying to decide where. Kind of the south of France sounds appealing, especially in November, sort of Spain, but then also like I've heard great things about Berlin and Prague, so I haven't really decided, but yeah, if I end up somewhere, I will absolutely, you know, try and have a Humblebee and Me meet up there. So yeah, that's kind of what I have on the horizon for now. I guess stay tuned for future things. If you are interested in the meetups, please give the Humblebee and Me Facebook page a like, and that's where I arrange everything, and kind of I just do everything as Facebook events, so you know people can RSVP, so I know if it's worth continuing. Yeah, so if that's something you're interested in, make sure you follow Humblebee and Me on Facebook. But yeah, I would love to see you at a Humblebee and meetup someday soon. Jamie, Barb, and Roland all kind of had questions about my taste in beer. So my top 3 favorite beers right now, at least I'd say, there's the Jerkface 9000 from Parallel 49, which is not only just a really gorgeous sort of hopped wheat ale, but is also super fun to order at bars. One Jerkface 9000, please. Whistler Brewing Co.'s Chestnut Winter Ale is this amazing, like, full-bodied, just it has displaced Granville Island's winter ale. The chestnut one is amazing. And then Citrus City from Phillips is new, but so good. It's such a gorgeous, juicy IPA. Oh, it's amazing. So I call those kind of my 3 favorites for now, at least. Generally speaking, I'm really enjoying really juicy, fruity IPAs, ones that have lots of like kind of grapefruit and citrus notes, but that aren't super bitter. And then I really like really full flavored darker beers and ales, so something like that chestnut ale or even a good Guinness is fantastic, especially now that the weather's starting to get a little cooler. So love me some beer. Lottie's gonna chime in with this next one. Zill wanted to know if I prefer hydrosols or essential oils. What do you think, Lottie? Yeah, no strong opinions, I see. For me, it really depends. When it comes to rose things, I tend to prefer hydrosols or rose wax, just because rose essential oil is so expensive. If it's a product where I could include a solubilizer to use essential oil, or I could kind of skip that and just use a hydrosol, so something like a foaming hand wash maybe, if the surfactant I'm using isn't a terribly good solubilizer, using a hydrosol instead of solubilizing some essential oils or fragrances is a really easy way to go about things. Obviously, if something is 100% oil-based, you know, you need to use the essential oil. And then I do have a couple more sort of obscure hydrosols, so I've got some white spruce hydrosol. You're invisible, love. Let's scoot you up. And I, as much as I'd really like to use that in some recipes, it's kind of obscure, right? So if I use that, most people are just going to want to use the essential oil instead. So I, in cases like that, for blog recipes, I will tend to choose the essential oil just to make people's lives easier. All right, Lottie, you done with your moment of fame? Kristy asked, are there different toners, facial toners for different skin types? And if so, is there kind of a standard recipe that could be developed? And then which ingredients would you adjust to cater to different skin types? So I guess first things first, kind of what is a toner? It's usually a thin, watery liquid. In sort of Western skincare, these have traditionally been astringent liquids that are often designed to be a bit drying for oil control, so they often contain alcohol, and they're sort of supposed to like close pores, which is not really accurate because pores aren't like blinds. They don't open and close like that. And then in sort of Asian skincare, they tend to be more nourishing, hydrating, liquidy things with actives like urea and hyaluronic acid. So I tend to prefer the Asian take on them because they're much, my skin is quite dry and I really like getting that hydrating on there, and using things that have a bunch of alcohol in them typically kind of irritate your skin and it's drying, and that's not great. So depending on your skin, you might have different priorities for your toner. For myself, I'm typically prioritizing hydration. You might be looking at something like skin soothing or perhaps sebum control. So there's a bunch of different kind of things that you can target for your skin type depending on the type of actives that you use. I actually released a how-to guide for formulating toners on my Patreon account for my patrons a month or so ago, maybe 2 months ago. And it's a PDF and it covers all different types of ingredients that you could put in a toner, different formulations considerations, sort of usage rates for those different types of ingredients, and kind of just general guidelines, things that you should be considering, where the challenges really lie with this type of formulation. So if you kind of want that guide, I would really recommend becoming a patron. So if you want to learn more about that, I'll throw a link in the description box below. But yeah, this is my full-time job, and so if you enjoy the content I produce, I would really appreciate your support. And we'll finish up with a question from Linda, who had a question about coloring soaps. So Linda asks, hi Marie, how do you select colors for soap? I noticed that you use a lot of micas, but sometimes even mica can't survive the high pH of soap, especially according to the TKB website. Thanks. So when she says TKB, she's talking about TKB Trading, which is a fantastic company out of California. They're in San Francisco, and they sell the most amazing array of micas that you could ever hope to slowly buy every single one of them, one by one, and then turn your house into a shimmery dreamland. Anyways, micas themselves aren't colored, so it's mica, muscovite mica, plus pigment, and a wide variety of pigments can be used, and some of those pigments aren't pH stable. So when TKB Trading says on some of their micas, not stable in high pH, that's because one of the pigments used in that blend of pigments used to color that mica is not stable in high pH environments. So two good examples of that are carmine and ferric ferrocyanide, both of which don't play well in high pH environments and will shift. So keep an eye out for those ingredients in your micas. Keep an eye out for those warnings about how, it's not stable in a high pH environment. And then also, good idea to buy your micas from companies that actually test them in cold processed soaps before selling them. So I know that Yellowbee here in Calgary does that, and Bramblebee in the States does as well. So that can also be a really good option to make sure that you know what you're getting. I know Yellowbee gave me some micas a year or two ago when they first started selling them, and one of them was called like something red, and looking at it, I was like, that's not red, and then I put it through the soap, and sure enough it was red when it came out the other side, and they knew it because they tried it, and that's why they called it red. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on there. It's not the mica, it's the pigment that colors the mica. And kind of generally talking about other things that I use to color soap, I really enjoy playing with clays coloring soaps. So like French green clay and like Australian pink clay and like Hydrosol, and you can get some neat kind of browns and pinks and greens, and they're all usually pretty like softy, earthy tones, but those are really fun to work with too. And I also love the way that clay feels in soap, so that's also fun. But generally speaking, I've been using a lot of micas lately because they're really very simple to work with. They disperse very easily, and as long as they don't contain pH sensitive pigments, they tend to be very reliable as well. All right, so that has been September 2018's Q&A video. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and do remember to check the description box below this video for some helpful sort of supplemental links. So thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.